Okay, so as you can see, we've got a tiny amount of regrowth, which we're going to be pre-lightening, and then we're just going to be reapplying the purple after we finish the process. But I'm going to talk you through the steps to applying scalp bleach, because some people seem to be a bit afraid of applying bleach to the scalp, or they don't get the results that they expect when they do it. So the first thing you've got to consider when you're doing this is your sectioning. You don't want your sections too big. You want to make sure that they're about 1/4 of an inch, so that as you apply the bleach to the scalp and you lift it up, you can actually see the bleach coming through the section on the other side. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So as I lift this up, you should be able to see that it's just seeping through the section. If it's not seeping through the section, then the chances are that in the center of the section, you won't actually lighten it enough. Now obviously the second thing is actually applying your bleach. Okay, you can see I'm dabbing the bleach onto the section. I'm not stroking too hard because this can irritate the scalp, and also I am applying plenty of product. Again, what you have to do is you have to sort of think of it like putting petrol in a car. If you don't put enough petrol in the car, then the car won't reach its destination. If you don't put enough bleach on the head, the bleach won't lift as high a level as you think it will, and you won't achieve the result that you desire. So actually taking smaller sections and applying plenty of product will actually get you a better and quicker result than simply rushing through trying to get the bleach on as quickly as possible. Now the other thing that you want to remember is when you're bringing down the next section, you don't want to flatten the sections down for two reasons. Firstly, this could then push the bleach further down the hair, and this is going to cause damage to the hair. You only want to apply it to the root. And secondly, if it's all compact and laid on top of each other, you're actually going to create heat pockets and get different levels of lift throughout the hair. Now there's a number of things you can do. The first thing is you can use cotton wool. Okay, now if you apply this directly onto the area, it's actually going to trap the heat and you're going to speed up the process, which can help in some situations. However, if that's not what you want to do, because maybe you've got time, another client booked in, or you're very slow at applying the bleach, then simply apply the cotton wool further down so that it's not trapping as much heat and you won't have this issue. And the next thing to remember, and this is very common again with hairdressers, and I think I mention it on a number of my other videos, is actually mixing your bleach. Now, manufacturers will always do a mixing ratio on their bleach, and it can vary, and some bleaches will even give you a number of different mixing ratios to mix to. However, the mixing ratio is there for a reason, and it is the optimum mix to achieve the levels of lift that the manufacturer have said can be achieved. Now a lot of stylists will say, yeah, but I like my bleach thick. Now there are plenty of products on the market that can actually be put into your bleach to thicken it up, so that if you do like thick bleach, you're still able to do this and it won't affect the lifting power of the bleach. Now the other common mistake by not mixing the bleach is, obviously we're human beings and we have different moods, and we have good days and we have bad days, and we're never going to mix our bleach up exactly the same each time. Now this is the first time I've done this lady's hair, so how long it will actually take to process, obviously with bleach, is a visual watch. I've weighed my bleach 1 to 2 and I've used it with 6%. So if today it takes about 35 to 45 minutes to lift, the next time I do her hair, I know that I've mixed it 1 to 2, I've used 6%, and I know that it's going to take roughly 35 to 45 minutes for it to process. This could then allow me to do something else in between. Now again, always check your manufacturer's instructions as to what the manufacturer recommends. But most manufacturers, when using bleach on scalp, will only recommend 3 or 6%. And again, there seems to be a little bit of an urban myth amongst hairdressers that the higher the level of developer you use, the more levels of lift you'll get. And that's not particularly true. You'll just achieve the levels of lift quicker by using 9% than you would by using 3%. Obviously, you're going to be opening the cuticle up more and opening the hair up to more cuticular damage the higher the level you use. So generally, in bleaching, whether it's highlights, full head, on scalp, off scalp, I actually tend to only use 3 or 6%. and I just give it longer to process. Now, when I started hairdressing, we didn't have as good quality bleaches as we currently do, and we certainly didn't have PLEX or protein additives that can also be added to your mix to protect the hair and help with the levels of lift. I've added a PLEX to my bleach as well, and I include it in the price. So PLEXes will help massively to protect the condition of the hair. Now, pricing is always difficult, and I get asked a lot of questions when it comes to pricing. How much should I charge? And that's a very difficult question. However, you should be breaking down how much the service costs you. So how much bleach you're using, the time it's taking you, and whether you're applying toners and plexes. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put how I work out my prices for something like this, so that if you want to have a look, obviously depending on the products you're using and the time that it takes you, it's going to differ slightly, but it will give you a guideline pricing wise. People that are new to the industry, they go, oh, you know, I can't charge that much because people won't pay it and I'm not worth that. Well, in my opinion, you are worth that. If you're giving the client the result that they like and people are returning to you happy, then obviously they like what you do and you do it well. Therefore, you should charge for that service. Okay, now if you didn't want to use the cotton wool, because the cotton wool certainly has an advantage to using it. As you can see, it keeps the section separated and it also allows the heat to circulate throughout the head. However, it can be difficult when you come to pulling these out, and you do end up with cotton wool going half down the sink and blocking it. Also, you have the added expense of using the cotton wool. So if you didn't want to use the cotton wool, my suggestion would be to actually start from the top of the head and work to the bottom. And this way you'll actually be flicking the sections back upon themselves. Then when you reach the bottom, you simply flip those sections back over, and this will stop the hair from being laid down too flat. Okay, so now you can see, I put my pin towel in, just gently bring this back over. Okay, it just lifts it up off the scalp and allows the heat to circulate throughout.